From across time and space and throughout the multiverse, listen as two generations of comic book readers come together to discuss a single character or event that shaped pop culture as we know it. Let Your Geek Side Show presents Then and Now with Susan and Kitty. Hey, this is Susan.
And this is Kitty.
And we are coming to you from the Sideshow Studio in Southern California. But today we are taking a trip into deep space on the Nostromo. We are looking for a distress beacon and trying to figure out why the creatures found on LV-426 scared us to our very core. So take a trip into the void of space because this is the Alien franchise, Then and Now.
All right, so Aliens. Alien 2, 3, 4. I forget the no. It's Alien 3, 4. I forget the nomenclature afterwards.
Well, there's Resurrection's one of them.
Oh, okay.
Wow. We're mostly focusing on Alien.
Right.
Because it's the 40th.
40th anniversary of Alien.
But we are probably going to talk about Aliens.
Yeah, I don't think...
To me, like, Alien and Aliens go hand in hand.
Yes, I think it's hard to talk about the evolution of the franchise without at least going up through Aliens.
Yeah.
Especially because I think so many people mix elements of the two.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I know that I do. But I'm very clear about, like, the Ridley Scott versus James Cameron situation.
Right, of course.
But moving forward after Aliens, I'm actually quite fuzzy because they all seem like the same after that.
Funny story, I don't remember those two movies, but one of my dearest friends in college made us watch all 4 movies. We did a marathon it was like spring quarter. Didn't we have homework to do? Probably. But he's like, it's really important to me that you guys see all of these films.
All right.
And I got up to go to the bathroom after Aliens, and a guy we didn't know had taken my spot on the couch, and no one said anything to him. So I sat like on the side of I sat like on the floor next to the couch watching the films, but like I was on the floor and like not. I was like, okay, I lost my spot on the couch. I'm gonna go on my phone. And so I don't remember 3 and 4.
Oh my God. But like, to be honest, I don't remember 3 and 4. I remember one of them has Winona Ryder.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
And we're probably going to get reamed out by all of our listeners.
Oh, right, absolutely. But we're here to talk 40th anniversary of
Alien, which, by the way, I will tell you all, is the first movie that ever truly scared me.
Ooh.
Like, little backstory. I'm not going to lie. I was shown horror movies probably when I was too young to be watching them. Thanks, Dad. Like, I saw Child's Play and Nightmare on Elm Street very, very young. I won't say how young because, like, honestly, my parents were awesome parents. But I was too young to watch those movies. But they didn't scare me because to me there was an element of fantasy enough that even as a child, I was like, yeah, I don't really want to play with dolls that might murder me, but that's fake. And like, I wasn't afraid of Freddy because to me that was fake. But there was something about Alien that really scared me because to me that didn't seem fake. And I don't know what the difference was necessarily. And I think to me, looking back, the difference is Ripley. Like when you're looking at something from the point of view of a character and you're experiencing it from that point of view, which, by the way, not to compare, but like Child's Play and Freddy, is that happens in those movies too. But there was something about Ellen Ripley that she was so relatable. Like right from the beginning, where like she's awoken from her hibernation sleep, and there's just something so relatable about that character that you're just like, even again, I saw Alien probably way too young to see it because I think I was like 9.
I was going to say, also in your defense, to your knowledge, up until whatever age you saw them, you'd been sleeping just fine with no Freddy Kruegers, and you'd never seen a toy come to life that you know of, and so, but you hadn't been to space, so you could, it's very plausible.
That's very feasible that there could be these xenomorph alien warrior things in space. Like, you know, chest bursters could be real. Face huggers definitely could be real. Like, all these things could be real. I didn't know, but, you know, you're right. But, like, honestly, I think I was, like, 7 or 8 when I saw Child's Play and Freddy Krueger. And I know that I was in 4th grade the first time I saw Alien. So, 9. And that movie truly, truly terrified me. And I definitely thought xenomorphs were going to come out of my wall based on that one scene that we all know Yeah. So I was too young to see that movie, and I saw both of them. I saw 1 and 2 in the same weekend.
Ooh, rough.
And then I don't even remember when I saw 3 and 4, to be totally honest.
But to go back to whatever age you were when you saw those films, the fact that you found Ellen Ripley relatable, and I mean, and I think
obviously
even
that's a retrospective thing.
Right.
I'm not sure that I was aware at 9
in
that,
4th grade.
Yeah, in
Just
4th
like,
grade, I was super understanding of what like an adult woman has to go through when she goes to space.
feel
I
so
related to
seen.
that. Yeah.
But even as we approach, I mean, not even approach, we're in it. We're in the 40th anniversary of Alien. Ellen Ripley, and then I'll venture further in the now side of things, the female protagonist of the Alien franchise has been that most relatable part. And there are plenty of other humans, and yes, there's androids, but like to see I don't know if it's, is she a final girl? Because I know that's more reserved for like straight horror. And
I know. I mean, the first Alien movie is considered a horror movie.
True.
So I almost feel like it's diminishing her to call her a final girl. Not that that's a bad thing. I mean, freaking go Sydney. Like I love all those movies. Like Jamie Lee Curtis is the OG. But to me, I think for me, Ellen Ripley, it also had to do with Sigourney Weaver, because
there's something timeless about her.
Because when you look at her, she just looks like every other woman. Like she doesn't necessarily look like she looks like a woman who could be part of a space program, but she also looks like a woman who could be like the president or be like a professor or like be your mom. Like, you know, she could be any woman.
They don't tokenize her in the film. They don't.
Exactly.
She just happens to be the member of the crew who is left, and it's not like, look, we brought a girl on board.
Right.
Like,
and there are other women in the crew as well. And all of those, I think that
I was thinking about the woman who didn't know like about how much blood was going to show up in the chest burster scene.
Oh my God.
Real screams there.
And then that, but also like she could have been anybody. Mm-hmm. Like it doesn't necessarily, like Ellen Ripley could have been anybody. Like she could have been oh my God, now I'm blanking on all of their names. Like she could have been Bishop. Like she and Bishop could have flipped, and each character would have worked just as well, regardless of whoever played them. And I think that to me is like one of the biggest strengths of that whole franchise, is there's nothing that makes a character male, female, like educated, not educated, like part of the military, not part of the military, space program. Like all of it seems like this could happen to anybody.
Because in a heartwarming way, the xenomorphs don't care. They don't discriminate.
Thank you, Kitty. Thank you for pointing that out. That's true. They're gonna plant their eggs in you regardless.
It could be you.
Yeah. And even when you introduce Newt, like a child, into the mix, or Jonesy, a cat, into the mix, like they're all the same. The xenomorphs are going to kill you no matter what.
Well, unless you're the cat, of course.
Unless you're the cat. But I just think...
But we can't all be the cat.
But do you think about the fact of like how old Jonesy must be by the time Jonesy...
Yeah, I think in our... If you want to go in the way back machine, the first... Geek Culture Countdown we recorded with the cat. Oh, how cute was that? We didn't know what we were doing. But I think we said Jonesy was the longest living like fictional cat in that sense.
That's true. Yeah.
But
I almost corrected you just now. I seriously was almost like, Jonesy's not fake.
Yes, Susan, you're absolutely right. And neither are the xenomorphs, which is why you were right to be scared.
That's true. I was right to be scared. But this whole podcast should just be called Susan Was Right.
So, but in that vein, I want to hold on to that while we're talking about like this could happen to anyone. So we have Ellen Ripley and we have Newt. And one of the biggest steps forward for the franchise in the now portion, as we move through the decades, and it still remains just as terrifying and ever popular. The Alien Isolation game introduces Amanda Ripley, who's in the video game franchise. She's the daughter of Ellen Ripley, and Alien Isolation is one of the scariest survival horror games because
I have no idea anything about this game. Okay. I've been told
first of all, it's a first person survival horror game.
Nope.
Yeah,
out.
You're out. But you play as the daughter of Ellen, who, it could happen to anyone. And so she's aboard a spaceship. And the game was praised for the AI of the xenomorph because it hunts you like a real animal. And it learns, this is the worst thing about like because computers are going to take
what?
And, you know, everyone has a right to be afraid of androids as well, because the AI in Alien Isolation learns from your patterns of gameplay. So, like, for me, I'm a scaredy cat gamer, and so I try to hide as much as possible. And if the game recognizes that you are hiding in the same spot too often, it will send the xenomorph, like, just after you because it knows you're there. And so you have to constantly be outsmarting this terrifying thing.
Nope.
I know.
Oh my God. Does this video game exist for like the Oculus platform yet?
I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Because if it does, that is the most.
Oh, Sam says yep.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Producer Sam, that sounds like my worst nightmare realized.
And they made a mobile game as well called Alien Blackout, but it wasn't as successful. But Alien Isolation and just the introduction of Amanda Ripley and the continuation of the legacy of that family, first of all, but also just the fact that even if the lead protagonist is a woman on a spaceship, like it could be anyone. Just stepping into that first person perspective is truly terrifying.
That is what Alien did though. Like as much as you watch like old slasher films like Halloween or, you know, Freddy Krueger, Jason, all that, you don't necessarily see things from a first person perspective, and you see them like as a group of teenagers at a camp or a group of teenagers on a block in Elm Street or the babysitter and stuff like that. And while, like I said, like I love Laurie Strode and the Halloween franchise and all these horror franchises, there was something truly terrifying about the existential reality of the abyss of space. Not to steal your line, Tony Stark, but also the fact that everything that happens to Ellen, you learn at the same time she does. And there's something about that because there's no like introduction of the xenomorph before she figures out what it is. There's no like, you don't experience anything that she doesn't experience with you.
That's one of the and like that's one of the things of the genre as you go back to the other examples of films you gave. There's so often a time when you're like the baby, like not the babysitter, the killer's in the closet. Like you can see him, and then, and she doesn't see as she walks up.
Like, why are you running upstairs?
Why are you, like those famous like you're gonna die because you committed like a horror movie sin, but like that unveiling of the threat along with the audience, it doesn't give the viewer time to think, well, duh, I would have just run the other way, or duh, I would have been in the vents. It's, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I'm at a loss.
And the fact that like also once she thinks she's safe, all of a sudden that panel opens. And like the thing is that other horror movies would have given some sort of hint as to where that killer is because we're very spatially aware when we watch a horror movie, whether we psychologically whether we consciously realize it or not. It's something that horror films do to us psychologically is we want to figure out the layout. We want to figure out our own way out. So they'll give us hints like visual cues, or we'll know the layout of a house and things like that. But Alien didn't do that. I don't know anything about that ship besides like exactly what Ripley knows. And that's insane.
And that I think that's such a testament as to why this movie still holds up and why you can do things like Alien Isolation. And I actually I did a virtual reality. So you mentioned the VR. I did a virtual reality experience called Alien Descent. It was a limited time engagement. Unfortunately, they have closed it right now. It was in Orange County, but they, after the success of that, I'm sure they will be coming back with other more revamped, terrifying experiences. But it was incredible because taking that first person, because I think the terror of the xenomorph has to be experienced first person, and so this was a fully autonomous walk around where we had like our equipment, like they strap you with like wrist things, and you've got a blaster, and you've got the VR helmet. And they simulate like going down into the core of a planet because you're on a recon mission. And at some point we were like, haha, like, okay, looking out for all the aliens and we found some eggs and we have to shoot them and stuff. But there's this one scene, and I'll spoil it because the experience is no longer open, where you're in a mining planet, you're deep in the surface, and you see this like one stalactite, and those like industrial like floodlights are all pointing up at it. And you just hear a voice, and like they rendered it so beautifully, like it was so terrifying. You hear a voice and you see a man who is like somehow like the alien hive like taped up to that, not taped, you know.
Oh my God,
but he's
yeah,
strapped to that stalactite, and
Oh my
he
God.
says, "Kill me, kill me."
Oh
and
my
we had,
God.
I know, and I grabbed because I had my one hand on my blaster, and I grabbed my friend who was with me, and I was like, "Oh my God, we have to kill him! Like we have to kill him!" Like,
Yeah.
and then of course, just aliens, the xenomorphs started flooding out. We got a chest burster scene in VR, and it was just like it was that. And I knew I was in a like a pop-up warehouse space.
Yeah.
And nothing was around me.
Yeah.
But oh my God, the full immersion of the VR. I was like, I am on an elevator that's probably going to drop into the bottom of this mine shaft. And I'm
Oh
gonna
my
die.
God.
And then it got really fun because it turned into like a shooting gallery of xenomorphs. But it was like terrifying. And then the cute little part at the end is you dock back in with your pickup ship and they show you a full scan of your body. And guess what's inside of you is a chest burster. So,
no.
it's the ability for this franchise to make you want to be a part of the world because you think maybe you can outsmart them.
yeah.
You can be a cool colonial marine.
Yeah.
And then just the abject terror of the realization of no, you're not smarter than these monsters.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that you can't be smarter than these monsters. They're like they're genetically perfect. Like, remember when they do that like kind of autopsy of the xenomorph, and they're just like meant to be predators who kill exactly how like you can be killed.
Yeah.
It's like an evolutionary thing.
Which is what makes the game AI so terrifying as well. It's just like the fact that
Gotta get me an Oculus between this one and like Vader Immortal. Now I'm gonna have to do it.
Yeah. And so continuing on the vein of how people still continue to live in this this franchise and give it new life. First of all, on the subject of still straight alien by the book, big props to New Jersey's North Bergen High School. I'm sure you heard the viral news.
Yeah.
This high school, I mean, because I look back and I went, oh, I was in The Sound of Music. Okay. This school went and launched a full-scale production of Alien.
But to think about it, like how I equated it is like, our school didn't do it, but we had a sister school that did Little Shop of Horrors.
Okay.
So you're going to have to do like Audrey 2 in like a big crazy way, right? And the puppet has to grow somehow. To me, I was like, okay, well, I guess you could apply similar type tech to make a xenomorph come out of a wall.
But,
right?
Yeah, but so
wait, did they do Aliens?
No, they did Alien.
Okay.
I think.
Because I was thinking about
because they have the chest burster scene.
right.
And stuff.
There's a chest burster thing, but I was also thinking like the eggs and the queen and stuff. But that's not till Aliens.
Yeah, they did Alien. But I was researching it at the time of this recording. A user named Button Smasher on YouTube has uploaded the full play. It's kind of like a parent recording kind of deal.
Oh, that's
so it's
adorable.
It's not all like perfect.
Clean, yeah.
Yeah, but you do get to see even if you just click around the video, they had. So first of all, they deserve all of the viral attention that they got. There was a full costume xenomorph, like cosplay grade, like full xenomorph.
To be fair, that's how they did it the first time. It was a dude in a costume.
These are high school students. I mean, like, can you imagine like going to your school and saying, "Hey, we'd like the spring play budget to go to Alien," but they also made their whole set out of recycled materials, and they did like an AMA on Reddit and talked about how they as the students like choreographed certain special effects. So they had the chest burster scene. Someone was under the table doing the puppeteering and stuff, but they had like a spray of blood and stuff. And they had the egg that and they had someone inside of the egg that threw the face hugger at Kane. So the kid who played Kane walks up and you've got the yellow light in the space helmet. And he kneels down and there's someone throws a face hugger. So it's no like, oh, I picked it up and it's on my face now. Like someone straight up hucked it at him.
That's amazing.
And it's amazing. And Sigourney Weaver even like went and there's a video of her like just meeting the students. But like to launch a full production of that as students with the recycled materials and just the ingenuity of that is incredible. And
how cool is Sigourney Weaver, by the way? Like,
oh my God.
Like honestly, would this movie have worked nearly as well without her?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
And now I can't remember if this is true or not, or the internet lying to me, but wasn't Meryl Streep considered for the role at one point?
I heard that as well. Again, she could have done it.
She could have done it.
Because she's Meryl friggin' Streep.
But it wouldn't be Sigourney Weaver.
But yeah. There's something about Sigourney Weaver's Ellen Ripley that's I love Meryl Streep. I think she can do anything acting wise, but I feel like Sigourney Weaver has a softness to her that allows her to be the every person. You know, Meryl Streep is a little bit harsh, and while she can play the loving, caring, matriarchal type figure, I probably would have thought of her as a little bit more harsh. Whereas
we needed that soft Ripley for the first Alien.
You need the first, you need that, and you also need it for the second because you need a like Meryl Streep totally could have done any scene with Newt as well,
right?
But there was
course.
something about the strong, stoic Ellen Ripley taking on a different side. But oh my God, Sigourney Weaver.
So another like the last thing I have to bring up for the now and how the franchise continues to live on, and a huge part of this is in part by the fans. For the 40th anniversary, the franchise solicited fan-made shorts, and they picked 6 of them. I think they premiered at Emerald City Comic Con.
They did.
And these are all also available on YouTube. So you've got some time to go and browse. You can watch.
There's so much content that goes along with this particular podcast.
Yeah. So you've got North Bergen High School's play, as long as that's still up on YouTube. And then these are all available on IGN. I know they were a timed exclusive, but I don't know where else they turned up. 6 anthology shorts, all about 10 to 12 minutes long, of course, full of xenomorphs, chestbursters, face huggers, androids.
Amazing.
And again, the casts are great and diverse and full of those every people, where you could just be like, oh yeah, this would be my job in the Alien universe.
Yeah.
And oh shit, like that's, sorry, I just swore. Oh my God, I think I just swore for the first time on a podcast, maybe.
Oh my God, I love it.
But these 6 things, and there's a great diversity in the protagonists, and so you do get that sense of these creatures are unstoppable and they're everywhere. And I won't go into the whole plot of every one of them, but they are, I sat down and watched them last night and was just like, oh man. My personal favorite, I'll start with the top, is called Specimen, and it's about a woman who works in a botany lab, and she has a dog with her, and the dog is overly sensitive to something that's in the botany lab that has been brought in as a specimen, and of course, I'm sure you can guess what is crawling around, but you get the sinister nature of the Weyland-Yutani Corporation, with that one. The next one is called Ore. It's set in a mining colony, and it focuses on a woman who wants a better life for her daughter and grandchildren, but it deals with how everyone reacts when a xenomorph is in the mine shafts.
Yeah, that's...
It's just, it's amazing.
I love the way you just brought up like the diversity, the everyman, that everyone knows what they would do in that alien type universe. And like, it's so... I love that. I absolutely love that. And I think that that's why this franchise has such a life even 40 years later, being able to like say, I would be this character, or not even saying I would be that character, but saying I would be a version of that character.
Yeah.
This is how this applies to me.
This is the role I would play in the expansion of humanity and how it would be challenged by the extraterrestrial world.
Exactly.
So then there's also, there's one called Night Shift, in which a man shows up at a warehouse disoriented, and a couple of people have to try to take care of him as the situation begins to worsen. I wonder what could be wrong with this disoriented man who showed up out of nowhere.
I can't.
And it's interesting because you can see the strokes of where a lot of it is homage, but so much of it is original, and these are almost essential now, but even though they're fan made.
If you think about it, each one of those things though, like, it's really easy to do something in the alien world because the alien world set up rules.
Yeah.
Like what it did was it gave us this very specific set of like, this is exactly the evolution of a xenomorph. This is how it would infect humanity. And so there are scientific principles that apply to this. So it is like science fiction in its truest nature.
Yeah.
So the fact that like any person can apply it to an everyday situation, again, makes this once again timeless. Like you can take it at any time period in a warehouse, in a mine shaft, in a botany lab. Like all of those things are places that like, I don't know, anybody could wind up.
Yeah. And then
maybe not a botany lab.
You should, that one takes some special research. But, and then the final 3 are called Alone. And it's about, this one is like a first person perspective, woman is on an abandoned chemical hauler and she has to fire it up for power to try to stay alive. And that one's really because each of these captures something different, where you've got the face hugger, you've got the chest burster, you've got the xenomorph itself.
Yeah.
And then this one is the isolation and oppression of space. Harvest is about a harvester crew trying to stay alive as they wait for emergency evac. And then Containment is 4 survivors on a pod trying to figure out what caused the outbreak that destroyed the rest of their crew and their ship. And so you do get awesome like solo settings where it's one person dealing with the terror, but then you also get group settings and watching these people stand up to the threat or fall apart as the threat encounters them. And this was a fantastic move on the franchise's part to breathe new life, get some other voices in, but completely adhere to the rules they've set up, as you mentioned. Because it is just beautiful because they've given us a guidebook of how to operate in the alien world.
And that's kind of what you need to do moving forward with a franchise like this. It's like, it's 40 years. We have a specific set of science fiction principles. I say science fiction on purpose. Science fiction principles, but also horror guidelines. And each of those things taps into a different part of the human psyche. And the Alien franchise from the beginning has been about those things that you just mentioned, like isolation, but group settings. And how do you behave in that? Are you the type of person that starts accusing everybody of everything? Are you the type of person that tries to fix the situation? Like it very much plays on humans and their base instincts. And that's probably why it's so important even 40 years later.
And all of us would still, though, like to believe in our hearts that we could be an Ellen Ripley. We could be smart enough for a little while.
I mean, I could be smart enough for a little while, but I really just don't think I'm smarter than a xenomorph.
I know. I wish I hadn't said it, but I'm kind of oddly comforted by the fact that it's like, yeah, the xenomorphs don't care. They're gonna get all of us.
Also, you know, to be also fair to the xenomorphs, they like, unless you get the chest burster situation, if they're gonna just kill you, they kind of do it quick.
Yeah, that's true. Wow, what a
morbid way to end up.
Great takeaway.
I know.
So obviously, as we dawn on the 40th anniversary of Alien,
I mean, for just go watch the original movie from 1979. It's friggin' amazing. Yeah. It will scare the bejesus out of you.
And for the now, you have no excuse. I mean, all 6 of those shorts are on IGN's YouTube page. They are available. They are sweet 10-minute little bursts, and I think 1 minute of those 10 1 minute of those 10 is the credits.
Yeah.
Those you like, if you consider yourself a fan, you have to take a look at those, like just for yourself. And then if you're feeling so bold, check out North Bergen High School's performance of Alien.
Amazing. I'm still super impressed by that.
I would recommend playing Alien Isolation, but I am too much of a weenie to have played it myself, even though I did the VR Alien Descent.
I kind of want to. Like, if I get an Oculus, I'll play it.
Say we should do a sideshow game night.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
Watch us
I'll wear my
scream.
stompers since I sat and got the stompers.
That's another way. I mean,
there's so many ways to be a fan.
It's a golden time for Alien. But yeah, so there's a wealth of stuff. It's all beyond the original movie, but
in space, no one can hear you scream.
Game over, man. We have taken you through all 40 years of being scared of things like face huggers, chest bursters, xenomorphs, and alien queens. We hope you listened with the lights on because, as you know, they mostly come at night. Mostly. If you'd like to hear us discuss your favorite character, franchise, or moment in pop culture history, send us an email at podcasts@geeksideshow.com. This has been Alien, Then and Now. Do you enjoy listening to Then and Now? We are proud to bring you pop culture content completely ad-free, but that doesn't mean we don't need your support to help us keep going. Please take a moment to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting platform and help spread the word about our podcast. We welcome fan feedback. Email us at podcasts@sideshow.com with your thoughts and suggestions for how we can make our shows even better. Please tune in for our other pop culture podcasts. See if your fan favorites make the cut in the Geek Culture Countdown, a bi-weekly podcast featuring pop culture top 10 lists. Hear exclusive interviews with celebrities and pop culture industry leaders as they let their geek side show in Look Who Showed Up. Then get all the latest pop culture news with our daily briefing, a 2-minute breakdown of the biggest geek headlines perfect for your Alexa or Google News briefings. We wouldn't exist without your continued support. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to let your geek side show.